Welcome back one and all to the Green Hell Greenhorn. My name is Justin, and today we'll be driving the Ferrari Formula 1 Concept Car around the Nordschleife. This car is a mod and is based entirely around the concept car that Ferrari sketched for its vision of the future of Formula 1. I am currently on an outlap, having recently just left the pits in this car, and this was not the first lap that I did with this car. In fact, I did several laps. I wanted to do something a little different for this video because the car is a little bit different. As you guys know, or longtime viewers will know, that I've done a lot of single-seater cars recently. Currently, the record lap time for the Nordschleife for myself personally in Assetto Corsa is the 2009 Williams FW31. I'm not sure, I believe it was a time in the 520s. If I'm not mistaken. I probably should have looked that up before I started recording this video, but that's all right. You can go check it out for yourself if you're interested in seeing what kind of lap time that car did. But this car is, as I mentioned, not real. It's not a real car. It's a real car that was drawn by somebody at Ferrari, and it was turned into a mod for Assetto Corsa. The mod was actually featured on WTF1 for those of you guys that follow WTF1 on Twitter or go to their website. They mentioned this car being a mod in Assetto Corsa a while back, and one of the guys from WTF1 even took it out on the circuit, took it out to Monza, and did a lap and showed that video. I'm not sure if it was Tommy from WTF1 if he did it. I think he's the one that does the sim racing on their channel, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, the car is quite nice. Lots of downforce in it. It accelerates similar to the 2015 Formula 1 cars. Also on this channel, I took out on the Nordschleife the W06, the 2015 Mercedes Formula 1 car, and also the FW36, I think it is, the 2015 Williams F1 car as well. Both those cars setting lap times around the 5-minute 40 mark, I believe, for the Nordschleife, which is incredibly quick. As I'm sure most of you know, that's an incredibly quick lap time. Some of the road cars, it'll take 7-8 minutes to complete. I think I have a lap time on one car that's over 9 minutes, so it's an extremely long course, as everybody knows. And this is not being recorded live. I am not recording this commentary while driving. Again, this is just an outlap as it stands right now, and I'm really not pushing hard at all. In fact, I am not pushing hard in the slightest. No pushing is happening here, and that's because I kept making mistakes. As you can see, the car is very, very quick. Has lots of speed. We're in 8th gear right now, approaching 190 miles an hour, and we're nowhere near the rev limiter. It seems that it has almost too much downforce. I didn't really want to mess with the setup too much of the car, though. I kept it pretty much bone stock. I did raise the car up a little bit. I raised the ride height on the car a little bit in order to better suit the bumpy circuit that is the Nordschleife. Excuse me, in hopes that would make it for a little bit smoother of a ride and make it a little bit more stable, because again, I was having a lot of problems putting together a clean lap. I would come out of the pits, I would be able to set quite a clean out lap, but I kept struggling on my hot laps, and I was sat here trying to record this for like an hour, and it just wasn't happening. So I took a different approach to it. I decided I was really going to take it easy on the out lap and then push like hell when it comes to the hot lap. Previously, I was just pushing like hell straight out of the pits, which in this car really isn't a problem. The problem is me. I'm just not a good enough driver to push this car 2 laps in a row. If I was going to do any sort of actual racing with this car at this circuit, this is pretty much how I would drive the whole time, is what you're seeing in front of you right here. And again, I am not pushing this car at all. It can go quite a bit faster than this. I think this outlap was like 6 minutes, and you'll see I shave quite a bit of time off of that. So the target is sort of in the 5-minute 20 to 5-minute 40 range. That's sort of where I would expect it to go. Although being a prototype car or a concept car, you would actually expect it to go faster, but it's really not that much faster than the current crop of Formula 1 cars. It does look amazing, though, and later on in this video, you will be able to see an off-board replay that I'm also going to commentate over. So I'll be doing commentary for this entire video. This video will be a little bit shorter than the average Green Hell Greenhorn video, however, and that is because I'll be releasing 3 separate videos after this video comes out, and those 3 separate videos will have the external replays and also a cockpit. One of the videos will be a cockpit cam replay with no talking, no commentary. So if any of you watching this are interested in seeing this car in action without someone talking over it, make sure you check out those 3 videos afterwards. One's going to be using the TV replay cameras, one using the static replay cameras, and then the third one using the cockpit cockpit view. I'm not sure that's the order they'll be actually released in, but all 3 of those videos will be available shortly after this video goes live. So here we are coming to the end of the straight. We are about to start our hot lap here, breaking down to 3rd gear, going about 70 miles an hour at the apex as we go down to 2nd gear for the final corner. And now we are just going to unleash all of the power in this Ferrari concept car. You can see the rev limiter I have not even been utilizing this entire time, as it comes from the right and left hand sides, meets in the middle, and you have to shift when the orange light comes on the steering wheel. 6th gear through there, almost 170 miles an hour coming down that hill, that right-hander. Very high-speed right-hander, really running out wide there, but getting nicely on the throttle, nearly up into 5th gear before dropping it back down into 3rd gear for the quick left-right left chicane area. Back down into 3rd gear for this right-hand corner, and then try to get a good exit. There was a little bit of a weight transfer as I was switching from the right-hand corner to the left-hand corner, and that kind of put me off a little bit, so I did lose a little bit of time there. Lifting off at the top of that hill before the very quick right-hander, because I found if you try and go full throttle up that hill, you will launch this car. You will absolutely go flying. And I think that's because the front end lifts up, and then the back wheels just kind of push it forward even further, and that just causes the nose to lift up even more. So I started lifting at the top of that hill, and that prevented me from going flying into the air, which is much faster, much more grip on the surface of the track versus in the air. Although you wouldn't really know it with this car with the amount of aerodynamics it has. 7th gear through that left-hander, just a little bit of a downshift, dab of the brakes down into 2nd gear for this long left-hander, staying in 2nd gear for this right-hander, keeping clear of the exit curb. You can take the curbs a little bit in this car, but you have to do it very smart. You have to be smart about how you take the curbs. Running off the circuit ever so slightly there into the grass, but you can see it really didn't affect my lap time at all or prevent me from taking that corner at full speed. Down to 4th gear for that left-right combination, and then coming down the hill into 3rd gear for this long right-hand corner. Taking a little bit of curb there, not what I wanted to do, but you can see the car was okay. I was able to take that up into 7th gear, back down into 5th for this very long sequence of right-hand corners, up into 6th gear, nearly into 7th gear before breaking back down into 2nd gear for this very tight left-hander. Careful on the throttle as we go through that right-hander there, accelerating up through the gears, nearly into 7th. Do we hit 7th? Yes, we do, and then dropping down into 3rd gear for this left-hander. Careful not to run out wide on the throttle, up into 5th very, very briefly, and then back down to 4th for climbing up the hill for that right-hander. You can probably do 3rd, but then you have to be a lot more careful on the throttle. It's probably faster to do 3rd, but it's a lot more stable to use 4th gear at the coming out of that corner. 3rd gear, and then into 4th gear for that right-hander. Very difficult. You have to take the late apex for that right-hander, and now we're in this full throttle section, shifting into 8th gear around 197 miles per hour. This car tops out at about 205. However, I believe that's a limitation of the aerodynamics, not the gearing. The gearing is not adjustable. The gear ratios are not adjustable in this car. The gears are fixed, much like the current crop of Formula 1 cars. Just a quick downshift into 7th gear for that high-speed left-hander. Can't take that flat out. It is just not possible, I don't think. Down to 3rd gear for this tighter right-hand corner before we approach the first carousel, where we will be staying above the carousel. We are not going to dip down into the carousel. Every single time I tried to dip down into the carousel, the car would just spin right away. No carousel for this car. Staying in 3rd gear around the rim of the carousel, and then accelerating carefully out of it. Quick jab of the brakes, downshift into 5th gear for the left-right section there. Staying in 4th gear. Originally, I was using 3rd gear for this corner. Using 4th gear, though, carrying a little bit more speed, getting the aerodynamics to use a little bit more. You get a little bit more downforce in 5th gear for this section. Could have carried a little bit more speed through that right-hander there. Now the uphill right-hander in 4th gear. careful on the throttle there, as well as it is easy to spin up the wheels. Down to third gear to bring the car into the left-hand side of the circuit, and then fourth gear at the exit, running a little bit wide there, but not too bad. Staying in fourth gear once again for this yet another uphill right-hander. Little tentative on the throttle, as you can see at the exit of that corner, using third gear now for this left-hander, and then we go up and over the hill towards the blind apex, and there it is in sixth gear, seventh gear now as we approach the jump. Up and over, no problems there. Down into fifth gear, carrying lots of speed. Another blind apex because of the crest of the hill, and into sixth gear. You got to lift off there because the car will fly at that hill as well. In seventh gear now, not quite flat out through that section, but flat out now, of course, full throttle into eighth gear, down into sixth gear for this very quick right-hander, then down into fourth gear for the left-hander here. You got to be careful at this corner as well. I think it's a little off camber, very easy to spin up the rear and lose the back end. Down to third gear, once again staying to the outside of the carousel, accelerating very gently out of the corner, up into sixth briefly before going back down to fourth gear. And then this is, of course, a very difficult corner and also a very important corner as you come onto the very, very long back straight. I was in fourth gear at the entrance and then using fifth gear for part of it. Not quite flat out. I think I could have gone full throttle a little bit earlier in the corner and I still would have made the corner just fine. You can see now we're kind of topping out around 205 miles an hour. Again, I believe that's a limitation of the aerodynamics of the car. If I lowered the wings a little bit, if I had given it a little bit less front wing and rear wing, I think we could have gotten more top speed out of this car. You can see there's plenty of revs still left in the engine, and we're in eighth gear, breaking down now to third gear for the penultimate corner here, or third to last corner. Here's the penultimate corner. The back end tries to kick out on me right at the end of the lap there. I don't think it lost me too much time, though, and I am going to cross the line to finish my first hot lap, and it is a 5:33 something. I don't know exactly what the time is. 5:33 point something. Here we go. I am going to bring up the time. I thought I did, so you guys can see exactly the time that I set. I'm having trouble finding what I'm looking for, and remember, this is a replay. There we go. So that was a 5:33.687. So it does not go faster than the FW31, the 2009 Williams F1 car. It is not faster. Very surprising. I'm not sure what that's all about. I don't know. I just don't know the speed difference. But here we're going to have an off-camera or off-track replay, or side of the track replay, outside of the car replay. And these are the TV cameras. No, these are the static cameras that we're using for this one. And again, this is the out lap, so I'm not pushing very hard, so there's not a lot of engine noise. It's a little bit quieter and stuff like that. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about the car a little bit. I really, really liked it. It's very wide. It's an extremely wide vehicle. As you could probably see from the exterior shots here, it'd be very difficult to try and go side by side with another one of these cars here on the Nordschleife, which is part of the reason that I didn't do a race. I did say that I was going to bring the AI races back to the Green Hölle Greenhorn series, and actually the next episode, episode 38, will be with the AI, and I will be in a 2-lap race against the AI, so it'll be kind of a return to that form. It's also a very different car. Very different car from this car here, this concept F1 car. So the next video is going to be very different. I did download a whole bunch of mods for Assetto Corsa recently, so I've got a whole bunch of cars to use. Also, of course, the Nordschleife is in iRacing, so I'm going to try and be going to iRacing for some of my Nordschleife stuff as much as possible anyway. I want to try and include iRacing in this series. I don't know if it will be as much as Assetto Corsa. I still think Assetto Corsa will make up the bulk of the Green Hölle Greenhorn videos, mainly because of mods. But I do want to start including the iRacing cars in this series so that we can cover even more vehicles, because I'm loving how many different cars I have access to on the Nordschleife right now. It's truly fantastic. And I've been wanting to drive this car on the Nordschleife for quite a while. I talked about this briefly in the channel update video that I released a little while back, but I was delaying this video because I wanted to record Pro Season, and I eventually just gave up on that. I've given up on Pro Season, and that gave me the freedom to now record this video, and I was so glad that I did because this car is so much fun. It is quite difficult to drive. I'm not sure how much horsepower it has, to be totally honest. I don't know what the specs are on this car. I don't know how much it weighs or anything like that, power to weight ratio, but it handles wonderfully, but at the same time it's just so incredibly fast. It's very easy to spin up the wheels, but at the same time it has tons of grip. It's very difficult to describe this car. It definitely feels the way that it looks. I mean, everything you saw on that hot lap where I'm getting the small twitches of oversteer and stuff, I mean, that's very much a real part of driving this car. But at the same time, when you're really on it, the thing's on rails. I mean, it is absolutely planted to the circuit. It's not going anywhere. But then, you know, but once it starts to break loose, once that back end starts to step out, or once you start to get that understeer, anything like that, you're in a lot of trouble. You're in a heap of trouble, which is why it took so long for me to record this. Now, normally with the Green Hell Greenhorn series, you guys will see my opening laps. You'll see the first lap that I do in the car, so you can watch me make mistakes and see how I learn the car at the circuit and stuff like that. But again, with this vehicle, I really wanted to do something special. I wanted to get my practice laps in and then start recording, you know, get a good lap in, and then just do a replay of it, stuff like that. Because, of course, with Assetto Corsa, you can see all the throttle inputs and everything like that as if it was live. So that's how I'm able to go back into the replay. The only thing that's different is the delta stuff on the steering wheel. The steering wheel display in cockpit view during a replay is not accurate. It's not showing current information, you know, how much faster I am versus my fastest lap and stuff like that. So it's a little wonky in that respect, but you can still see all my throttle inputs. You can see what gear I'm in, how fast I'm going, and all that good stuff. So that's why I've decided to go for the non-live commentary. I've discussed this in other videos as well, but live commentary just really doesn't work with the Blue Yeti microphone. It's incredibly difficult. In fact, one of my subscribers, James, was messaging me on Twitter tonight asking me how I do live commentary with my Blue Yeti, and I told him I don't anymore. I tried to for a while, and just nope, not happening. Just you can't have that giant microphone sitting in your face while you're trying to do sim racing, and it's a huge pain, and it picks up all the sounds from the steering wheel as well. So this is definitely the way to go. Oh gosh, I love that shot as it's coming over the crest of the hill, and here where it's navigating that little S section at top speed, just full throttle through there. Beautiful car as well. I know a lot of people are purists about their Formula One cars. They want every Formula One car to look like the 2006 Ferrari or whatever year it is that they're in love with. But for me, you know, I see this and I go, yeah, that's probably the future of Formula One. In fact, I would not be disappointed whatsoever if Formula One cars look like this in the future, because I think this car looks fantastic, especially in the black, red, and white livery that I've gone for here. Big fan of that. I did do. This is typical track conditions for those that are wondering for these laps. The tires or the track surface is set to optimal, as well as the track temperature and all that kind of stuff. So this is maximum grip. I don't think there were tire compounds available, but I think I was on soft tires. But fuel consumption is off as per usual, all that kind of stuff. You know, so it's not really tire consumption is off as well, because otherwise my tires would be dead by the time I started my hot lap. Speaking of which, starting the hot lap now, so you will hear the car get a little bit louder as I start using all of the revs in that car, and it's got a lot of them. I'm not sure what kind of RPMs it's going up to, but it's got a lot of power, even in the lower RPMs. I think it's got tons of torque. I'm pretty sure there's a turbo in the car. If you go watch the cockpit camera view on speakers or headset, and just turn up the volume really loud, you can definitely hear the faint whine or hissing of the turbo in that engine. It's got at least one turbo. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be twin turbo, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know if there is energy recovery, if there's an ERS system in place that's deploying automatically, or if there's a manual one. I was definitely pushing the ERS or KERS button on my steering wheel, and it didn't feel like anything was happening, so if there's any sort of ERS in the car, it's definitely being deployed automatically, and I couldn't find any ERS settings in the setup, so I don't think it's actually a hybrid car like the current batch of Formula One cars, which, again, I really don't care about. I think it's cool that the current cars are hybrid. Again, you know, that's a future technology, and I think F1 should embrace that type of stuff, but again, I just really can't be bothered. I mean, F1 is F1, you know, no matter what engine you put in it. Like, those guys, those engineers are geniuses, and they're going to push that car to the absolute limit, and that's what I enjoy, not you know, whatever FIA decides the teams can and can't do. I mean, that's not Formula One. What they do with those rules, that's Formula One. As you can see me running off the circuit there. I love how on rails it is. Even when you're going off into the grass and the dirt and everything, it's like, nope, I'm fine. I got crazy amounts of downforce. And it's really strange because the default wing level was like 15 degrees, which isn't very much as far as I know. I don't think a 15-degree wing angle provides a whole lot of downforce with the current spec of Formula 1 cars. So I assume this car either has ground effects or it's got just more wing surface. And that's how it can get away, because it's got like 4 wings on the front, as you can see. From some of these frontal shots. It's got little tiny wings even where the T-cam is. It's got a giant rear wing as well. It's got huge, huge slick tires as well. So I don't know the performance specs of this car, but it handles great, feels great. It's a fantastic mod. They really did a great job with it, especially when you consider the fact that this is not a real car. They have nothing to base it off of in real life. So the modders really had to use their imagination when it came to this car, and I think they did a great job of doing that, and I think it's a lot of fun to drive, and this is definitely one of the best mods that you can get for Assetto Corsa, without a doubt. I love the cockpit quality as well. The little LEDs, the rear-facing camera as well that's behind the steering wheel. I love that type of stuff, and I can't wait for that sort of thing to be actually in F1. I mean, that might be 10, 20 years down the road, but I mean, it's technology that already exists. So, I mean, all they need to do is just change the rules and, you know, make it mandatory, and you could see it next year easily, I'm pretty sure. That type of stuff with the rearward-facing cameras. So yeah, I would highly recommend this mod. It's fantastic. It's a difficult car to drive on the Nordschleife, no doubt about that. I wouldn't recommend this car to somebody who's new at the Nordschleife, because it's so crazy. I mean, it did a 5-minute 33 on the Nordschleife. And that's with me behind the wheel. So that should give you some perspective of just how ridiculous this car is. Again, it's not faster, as it turns out, than the 2009 Williams F1 car, but I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if it's because this one has extra. Maybe the Williams just had more top speed. Because I mean, you can gain a lot of time on the back straight just by having a car that's 10 or 20 miles an hour faster in a straight line. You can gain 5 to 10 seconds or something like that. I mean, you could get huge gains by having high top speed at the Nordschleife. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. So yeah, difficult car for a beginner. But if you're taking, if you're going to take this thing out to a Formula 1 circuit, if you're gonna take this out to Catalunya or just the regular Nürburgring, I imagine it would be incredible amounts of fun. I haven't. The only track I've driven this car on has been the Nordschleife, actually, so I really don't have any experience with it anywhere else. But it just feels like it would be fantastic at a normal circuit, because, I mean, look how well it's performing on the Nordschleife. It's pretty incredible, actually, how well this thing performs. So yeah, I would highly encourage anybody with Assetto Corsa to download this mod, if only to try it out and see it for yourself. But again, if you're a Nordschleife fan, then, or looking for cars to drive on the Nordschleife, this may or may not be for you. It's very stressful. By the end of this recording session, I was just dripping in sweat. I mean, just covered head to toe in sweat. It was incredible how much how tired I was after this. My arm hurt. My left arm hurt after recording this, but I had a blast doing it. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nice little slide there coming through the penultimate corner. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you next time. More videos, of course, coming out, as I mentioned in the channel update. Planning on lots of videos coming out in the future. Tons and tons of videos. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I sure am. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.